the hidden gate. This is the threshold spoken of only in whispers, an entrance to the reality behind all realities, so subtle that most have stepped over it 1,000 times and never noticed the change. And yet, just once is enough to alter the very core of your being. There is a strange arrogance in the modern world, the belief that all mysteries are meant to be solved by force. You see it everywhere. Raise your vibration. Think positive. Force the frequency higher and higher until you are bursting with light. But what if I told you the true keepers of the ancient wisdom, Thoth's lineage, the silent sages of Egypt, the whisperers of Tibet, never obsessed over vibrating high at all? Pause and feel that doubt. Let it sink in. The greatest lie ever told to the seekers was that the universe only listens when you shout. But Thoth, scribe of the gods, never shouted. He listened so deeply that the hidden pulse beneath all things began to answer. You're here because you feel it too, don't you? That quiet hum in the bones, the faint shiver under the skin, the certainty that something ancient is waiting to awaken. It's not about raising your vibration to impossible heights, exhausting yourself with mantras and desperate affirmations. The secret is, the gate was never closed. It only required the right key. When I first encountered this truth, it was as if every effort I'd made, every frantic attempt to manifest through force crumbled into silence. For a long time, I was angry. Had I wasted years on the wrong path? But then, like a stone falling into a still pond, the lesson rippled outward. The universe responds not to effort, but to alignment. Imagine a door hidden in plain sight. It doesn't care how loudly you knock. It opens to the one who knows how to touch it, with the gentleness of knowing, not the violence of wanting. The ritual, just once, is enough. Right now, let me lead you through an experience. You do not need to vibrate high. You do not need to force, strain, or pretend. You only need to be present. Sit comfortably, spine straight, chin relaxed. Close your eyes. Inhale softly, as if sipping the air through a silk thread. Hold. Feel your heartbeat. Exhale, as if whispering a secret you dare not speak. As you breathe, place your awareness at the point between your eyebrows, the eye of Thoth, known to science as the pineal gland, the ancient seat of intuition. Don't try to activate it, just listen. If thoughts come, let them pass. Do nothing but witness. In the silence, you may feel a strange sensation, pressure, tingling, the flicker of a memory, or maybe nothing at all. That's perfect. The gate is subtle, and it rewards subtlety. If you notice even a glimmer, know this. Just once, just now, you have stepped onto the path that cannot be reversed. The ancient warning. But be careful, this practice is not a toy. There is a reason the hidden schools warned students away until they were ready. If you force, you may create inner storms, restlessness, headaches, confusion. If you seek only power, you may encounter the mirror of your own shadow. But if you come with humility, you unlock the greatest miracle. The gate opens, and you realize it was always open. The world feels lighter, time softens, and reality itself begins to respond not to your shouting, but to your silent alignment. In ancient Egypt, the initiates were told, "He who shouts at the gate is sent away. He who listens is welcomed by the light." When you practice as you just did, you join a lineage older than any empire, a current of wisdom that has waited for your presence, not your perfection. Signs of the gate's touch. How will you know it worked? Sometimes the effect is immediate, a rush of peace, a warmth at the crown, a vision or dream that arrives with shocking clarity. More often, it's subtle the next day. You notice a problem dissolve, a conversation shift, a feeling of support where there was none before. This is the gate's way. Silent, sure, unmistakable for those with eyes to see. The paradox of stillness. It is written in the fragments of the emerald tablet. To the unmoving, all things reveal themselves. This is not just poetic flourish. In the shadowed halls of the Egyptian temples, the initiates were not told to chant or dance themselves into frenzy. Instead, Thoth's chosen were trained to stand so still, so profoundly silent, that the entire world's vibration could pass through them unfiltered. Stillness, not activity, was the gateway. Imagine the room cool stone, heavy with the scent of oils and ancient dust. The only sound is your own breath, echoing through your body like a wave over sand. For many, the silence becomes terrifying, even unbearable. We are creatures addicted to movement, minds that race, hearts that fear, emptiness. The great mental trap is this: believing that stillness means nothing is happening, yet in that silence, the entire field is being rearranged. The mockery of the modern age. How strange it seems, then, that the manifestation gurus tell you to repeat affirmations endlessly, to push your energy higher and higher, as if the universe were a stubborn mule to be whipped into obedience. In the secret schools of Alexandria, this was a joke. If the gods could be bought with noisy prayers, every fool would be a king. What a brilliant, mocking insight. The wisdom of Thoth begins where effort ends. I remember the first time I tried this. For weeks, I had been chanting, visualizing, striving, doing everything right, and feeling more and more exhausted. Out of sheer frustration, I sat down, closed my eyes, and did nothing. No prayers, no affirmations, just witnessed my own impatience. At first, it felt like failure. Then, as if a dam had cracked, I felt a rush of insight, as if the universe had been waiting for me to shut up long enough to finally speak. Hands-on, the ritual of pure witnessing. If you are ready, truly ready, here is the practice. You will need only a chair, a quiet space, and a willingness to risk your comfort. Sit down, straighten your spine, rest your hands, palms open, on your thighs, close your eyes. Now, here is the twist. Do absolutely nothing. No mantras, no breathing exercises, no wishing. For 5 minutes, set a timer. If you must just become aware of every sensation, every itch, every racing thought, every doubt, witness everything and resist the urge to change it. If you feel fear, sit with it. If you feel boredom, allow it. You are not here to fix yourself, but to meet yourself where you truly are. In these 5 minutes, you might feel as though nothing is happening, but ancient mystics say that in such radical stillness, the hidden energy lines in your body begin to rearrange themselves. Science is only just beginning to catch up. Studies now show that deep, meditative stillness triggers the body's healing response, calms chaotic brainwaves, and even slows cellular aging. What the priests called the return of the divine order, we now call neuroplasticity. Warnings from the abyss. But let me warn you, this is not for the faint of heart. Many who attempt pure witnessing for the first time encounter shadows their own pain, regrets, and unprocessed emotions. Some give up, running back to the safety of noise and distraction. The ancients called this meeting the guardian at the threshold. If you can endure the discomfort, you pass through the first veil. If not, the gate remains hidden. I have seen strong men weep in those 5 minutes. I have watched skeptics leave the room, trembling after the second. Stillness, paradoxically, is the most active state the soul can know. In it, the buried energies rise, the body shivers, and what you thought was emptiness reveals itself as a space filled with living power. The unmistakable signs. How will you know it's working? After practicing this once truly, deeply, something changes. You may feel a buzzing in your hands, a warmth behind your eyes, or a deep, inexplicable sense of peace. The world seems a little less frantic. Choices become clearer. The people around you respond to you differently, as if they can sense you are rooted in something deeper. This is the paradox. By doing nothing, you have changed everything. The great mirage. This is the myth that has enchanted countless seekers, a shimmering illusion that draws the thirsty to the edge of a mirage. Vibrate higher, and the world will bow at your feet. But beneath this golden promise lies a desert of exhaustion. I speak now not with condemnation, but with the weary authority of one who has wandered that desert for too many moons. There is something almost cruel in how the myth perpetuates itself. Scroll through any social feed, and you'll see its smiling faces, hands raised to the sun, captions screaming, "Good vibes only." There is a cult of positivity, a false sun that demands you burn away every shadow, suppress every wound, deny every doubt. And so, you push, you strive, you chant your worth into the void, hoping, one day, you'll be enough, for the universe to notice. But here's the secret. The ancient world was never about high or low. The real wisdom of Thoth was never found on the peaks, but in the balance between shadow and light. The Emerald Tablet does not say, "Rise ever higher." It says, "As above, so below." It speaks of unity, of bringing the heavens and the earth into alignment, not escaping one for the other. The obsession and its price. I remember a night, one of many spent obsessing over every negative thought, terrified I might lower my frequency. Every worry became poison, every bad day a personal failure. The anxiety grew until the pursuit of light became its own darkness. This is the hidden cost of the high vibration myth. It breeds self-rejection, a perpetual war within. In the hidden chambers of Egypt, the true initiates were told, if you chase the sun without understanding the night, you will burn yourself to ash. There is wisdom in the night, there is healing in the shadow. The real path is not to float above the world, but to become whole within it. Hands-on, embracing the full spectrum. Now, let us try a practice forbidden by every good vibes only, priest embracing all that you are. Sit with your back straight, feet on the floor. Take a gentle breath in. As you exhale, bring to mind a recent moment of disappointment, anger, or shame, something you would usually push away. Don't analyze it, don't judge it. Simply allow it to be there, in your awareness. Next, place your right hand over your heart, your left hand on your lower belly. Say silently, "This is me too." Stay with it. Feel the warmth of your hand, the pulse beneath your skin. Breathe gently. Allow every feeling to rise and fall, like tides in the dark. You may notice discomfort, tears, even a little fear. Good. You are whole not despite your shadows, but because of them. As you do this, notice how the energy shifts not higher or lower, but wider, fuller. You become a vessel vast enough to hold it all. This is the real, high vibration, not an escape, but an embrace. In that fullness, the magic of manifestation begins. You do not attract what you pretend to be. You attract what you are willing to hold, honestly, tenderly, in the arms of your own awareness. The warnings, the trap of spiritual bypassing. Let me offer a cold, necessary warning. Many who follow only the light, who deny the shadow, end up lost, dissociated, anxious, unable to manifest anything lasting. This is the trap of spiritual bypassing, using positivity to run from pain. In the old schools, it was considered a grave mistake. One must first descend before they ascend. Only then does the journey become real. If you find yourself restless, angry, tired after this practice, do not retreat. You are clearing lifetimes of denial. With time, the darkness softens, the light returns, not as a blinding sun, but as a gentle dawn. Signs of true alignment. After a true embrace of your full spectrum, life begins to flow differently. You find yourself less reactive. Synchronicities increase not because you forced them, but because you have become a clear vessel. Relationships deepen. Manifestations arrive without strain. The universe responds not to your performance, but to your truth. The collective embrace. Now, to seal the practice, I invite you, if you dared to feel the shadow and hold it with compassion, write in the comments, "I embrace my whole self," or "The full spectrum is alive in me." This is not just a ritual for you, but a healing for the field. Every declaration is a thread, weaving a new pattern into the world's energy, the emerald frequency. This is not a technique you'll find in glossy books, not a meme for your feed. It is the buried pulse at the heart of the Emerald Tablet itself, a vibration so old, so pure, that even the priests of Thoth warned, "Approach only if you are ready to be undone." And that is no poetic warning. It is a line drawn in the sand for the soul. If you expect me to hand you a chant, a color, or a quick fix, turn away. The emerald frequency is not a trick to get what you want. It's the current that strips away what you don't need. It is the opposite of all you have been taught about manifestation. Let me tell you a story, a fragment from Alexandria, whispered to me in a library where the lamps burned all night. There was a student who, desperate to be initiated, claimed to have mastered every vibration, every meditation, every secret mantra. The old teacher simply laughed. "You seek to command the frequency, but will you let it command you?" For days, The student sat in silence, pride melting to confusion, confusion to humility. And on the third day, he began to hear it, a note beneath all notes, a soundless bell ringing in his bones. It wasn't high, it was true. The experience letting the frequency find you. This is the part most manifestation coaches will never teach. You do not summon the emerald frequency, it summons you. If you wish, try this now. Turn off all distractions. Sit in the dimmest light. Place both hands over your chest. Breathe, not deeply, but shallow and slow, as if afraid to disturb the dust in the tomb. Listen not for music, not for thoughts, but for the silence between. Somewhere in that quiet, you may notice a gentle pressure, a ringing, or a subtle ache. If so, you are near the current. Now, and this is crucial, do not chase it. If you strain, it vanishes. If you soften, it may emerge. Allow yourself to become empty, so empty that something entirely unbidden can enter. That emptiness is the key the ancients guarded so jealously. The emerald frequency cannot be hacked. It must be received like rain or grace. The haunting afterglow. If you touch the frequency, expect nothing familiar. For some, old memories surface, regrets, losses, betrayals rising as if to be cleansed. For others, the body feels strange, tingling, even cold. You may have vivid dreams or sudden moments of knowing. Don't panic. This is the frequency stripping away the excess, carving you back to your essence. It is uncomfortable. It is sacred. The ancient side effects. A warning. The emerald frequency is merciless. Many who first experience it retreat, clutching at their old stories, unable to surrender. Relationships may shift. Your taste for gossip, for distractions, may disappear. You might feel drawn to solitude, to nature, to silence. This is not ascension. It is return to yourself, to a place unpolluted by the world's demands. If you feel lost after this, remember, loss is the prerequisite for revelation. He who would gain all must first lose all, wrote the Hermetists. Don't resist the shedding, allow it. The manifestation no one wants. Irony drips from the lips of the old initiates. If you manifest only what your ego desires, you remain a servant. If you allow the emerald frequency to manifest through you, you become a channel of the original order. This is the secret. True manifestation is not getting what you want, but wanting what you get. The frequency aligns you with a life you could never have dreamed to ask for. The ritual of acknowledgement. If you felt the call, if you dared to meet the frequency in your bones, declare it. Write, I have received the frequency, or the emerald current flows in me. Each confession is a signal, a note in the hidden symphony. The mirror of the void. This is the one place every mystic both fears and seeks a space beyond form, beyond wanting, beyond even hope. To those who worship abundance, it sounds like oblivion. But to the true student of Thoth, the void is the primordial womb from which all realities are born. Let's not sugarcoat it. Most will do anything to avoid the void. It's uncomfortable, unfamiliar, the opposite of every vision board and affirmation. And yet, the most ancient texts agree before creation, there was darkness, infinite and unbroken. The emerald tablet whispers, the all is mind, but it does not say, the mind is always busy. No, the mind first dissolves into nothing, and then the true magic begins. The reluctance and the revelation. I remember the first time I willingly entered the void. I expected fireworks, a booming voice, some cosmic sign. Instead, there was nothing, a blank expanse. At first, I panicked. What if I'd lost everything? My desire, my direction, myself? Then, like a pearl forming in deep water, a new sense emerged, a peace so wide and deep it terrified me. In that emptiness, every wish, every hunger, every old regret lost its grip. The mirror of the void reflected only what was true. The mind will rebel. It will scream, do something. It will fill the silence with to-do lists, memories, fears. This is the guardian at the threshold, the last test. Will you turn back to the noise, or will you trust the process? Most will run, but if you stay even a moment, something miraculous happens. The field resets. The patterns that once bound you loosen. the universe itself pauses, ready for your next command. The ritual meeting the mirror. This practice is not for the impatient. If you are ready, find a quiet space, free from every voice and every distraction. Sit, close your eyes. Imagine a vast, dark mirror before you, so dark, it reflects nothing at all. Breathe naturally. With each breath, feel yourself becoming lighter, less substantial, as if you're dissolving into mist. Don't try to think positive. Don't try to manifest anything. Just let yourself disappear, even if only for a minute. Surrender to the void. If thoughts arise, let them float across the mirror and fade. If fear comes, acknowledge it. Stay, wait. This is where the old self unravels and the true self is remembered. In this emptiness, some feel a chill. Some weep for reasons they can't name. Some laugh at the absurdity of ever having been afraid. This is the mirror's gift, to show you that all your power comes not from clinging, but from letting go. The side effects and the secret. Here's the catch. After a true void meditation, life can feel surreal, the colors sharper, the air thinner, people's words either beautiful or unbearably false. Some report that things they once obsessed over simply fade away. You may even forget what you thought you wanted to manifest. That's the magic. Into the vacuum rushes something new, unbidden, unmistakably yours. But beware, if you cling to the void as a technique, trying to get results, the magic stops. The mirror reflects only authenticity. True manifestation flows from emptiness, not ambition. The fool's shortcut. There's an old joke among hermeticists. Everyone wants a magic word. Nobody wants to become a living spell. This is the trap at the heart of every fast manifest course and clickbait secret. The delusion that you can bypass the work, jump the spiral, leap from ignorance to mastery with a single incantation. But Thoth's wisdom has no patience for fools. You've heard the promises. Repeat this affirmation 21 times and riches will appear. Visualize your dream home for 5 minutes each morning and the universe will deliver. Tell that to an Egyptian initiate and he'll laugh you out of the temple, or worse, send you to sweep the floor for 7 years. Magic is not a vending machine. The fool's shortcut leads not to treasure, but to circles endless, exhausting, and empty. The great mockery, the universe as trickster. I'll tell you a secret. The universe loves a good prank. Try to game reality, and reality games you right back. I've seen it myself. People who follow all the rules and end up more confused, broke, and miserable than before. Why? Because the ancient current of manifestation does not respond to surface rituals or shallow repetition. It answers only to the true, the raw, the unvarnished soul. A story. In old Cairo, there was a young man who memorized every prayer, every mantra. He was so certain he'd mastered the law of attraction, he told the elders, "I will have what I want by week's end." The old priest simply smiled and said, "May you receive exactly what you wish, and everything it brings." The young man did receive an avalanche of obligations, unexpected debts, and a taste of loneliness sharper than any hunger. The shortcut was a spiral, not a straight line. The experience, dismantling the shortcut. Let's try something uncomfortable. If you're brave, take the next 3 minutes and write down every shortcut you've ever chased. Affirmations, vision boards, one simple trick videos. Sit with them, stare, notice which promises felt like lifelines, which like shackles. Now, in a single breath, say aloud, "None of this is me." Burn the list if you must. Tear it, toss it. The point is not to shame the past, but to recognize the absurdity of thinking the universe can be bribed with performance. What rises in the silence? For some, there is relief, a weight lifted. For others, embarrassment or regret. Stay there. Underneath the noise, something real is stirring. Your own intention, raw and uncoated by dogma. The only spell worth casting is the one born from truth. The warning: spiritual inflation. But heed this. Those who spend their lives chasing shortcuts grow spiritually bloated, full of rituals, empty of meaning. The Hermetists called it spiritual inflation, a dangerous condition where the ego masquerades as the soul. It's easy to get lost here, to believe you're advanced because you've collected techniques like souvenirs. The true path is not about adding more, but about shedding what is false. The sign's real progress is quiet. How do you know you've stepped off the fool's shortcut? You stop craving secret formulas. The need to impress the universe fades. Life becomes simpler, quieter, more honest. Manifestations arise not as miracles, but as natural outgrowths of being aligned with what is real. Your desires clarify, your energy stabilizes. There is no fanfare, just a growing sense of peace, like water settling in a deep well. For the collective A, new declaration. If you have dismantled a shortcut, if you've let go of chasing and allowed yourself to rest in the real, mark your turning in the comments. I am done with shortcuts. Or, the path is enough. This is no small thing. Each declaration thins the fog for others still running the circles. The ancient pulse. Beneath all modern confusion, all spiritual noise, all the borrowed rituals and trendy words, there is a quiet rhythm that predates history. Some call it soul memory. Some call it the original vibration. Thoth's followers whispered that it is older than the pyramids, older than written language, as old as the first breath drawn by the first living thing. And here is the secret. You cannot manufacture the pulse. You can only remember it. Anyone who has ever wandered a silent forest at dusk, or stood alone in the midnight desert, or heard the wind sigh through a temple ruin, knows the feeling, an eerie, familiar resonance, as if something inside you is answering a call you never knew existed. It is both comforting and unsettling, like déjà vu turned inside out. The shock of remembrance. I once met a woman in India who claimed she could activate anyone's vibration for a price. Skeptical, I watched her wave incense, chant Sanskrit, sprinkle powders. When she finished, I asked her, "What did you awaken?" Her smile faded. She said quietly, "It was already awake." She had simply reminded the seeker of what was always there. That is the riddle at the core of all ancient mysteries. The most profound transformation is a return, not a journey forward. The moment you touch the ancient pulse, you will know. It is not a rush of energy or a spiritual high. It is the opposite of striving, a strange, profound homecoming. For some, tears come with no reason. For others, there is laughter, or a feeling of being so solid, so real, that nothing could ever move you again. The experience reawakening the original vibration. Let us try something wordless, primal. Find a place where you can make a sound without fear of being heard. Close your eyes. Place a hand on your chest. Take a slow breath. And, on your exhale, let out the simplest tone your body wants to make. One note, unplanned, unjudged, even if it sounds foolish or strange. As you sound this note, notice what happens, not just in your throat, but in your body, your bones, your heart. For some, the sound will come easily. For others, it will catch in the throat or tremble. Do not force it. Let it be whatever it is. This is not performance. This is remembrance. Repeat this once more. If emotion rises, let it. If memory comes, watch it. You are not creating the pulse. You are meeting it, listening for its echo. The original vibration was always yours. The danger mistaking memory for magic. Here lies a subtle danger. The ego loves to claim discovery as achievement, to turn remembrance into a badge or a product. Beware the urge to make the pulse into something special or rare. It is the birthright of every living being. The only mistake is to chase it outside yourself, or to try to possess what cannot be owned. Those who become addicted to new techniques may miss the truth entirely. The pulse is not found in novelty, but in sincerity. It will not announce itself. It arrives quietly when you stop looking for anything else. The signs, the world resonates back. After reawakening the pulse, life has a subtle new shimmer. Patterns that felt old or dead come alive. You feel a sense of timing. Moments arrive just as you need them. Sometimes, nature itself seems to notice. Birds land near you, breezes shift as you walk, people speak truths they never would have dared. These are not coincidences. The world is resonating back your own remembered frequency, a tapestry woven together. If you have touched the ancient pulse, if you have remembered what you always were, declare it now in the collective field. I remember, or The original vibration has returned. Every note sung, every word written, stitches another thread into the great tapestry of awakening that Thoth's lineage saw as our true work. The scientist and the sorcerer. In every age, these two have been cast as rivals. One demands proof, the other whispers of mysteries beyond measure. But what if the rift was never real? What if Thoth, keeper of both wisdom and magic, encoded the bridge between science and sorcery within the very bones of creation? Consider this. Thoth was not only a god of scribes, but of mathematics, astronomy, architecture. The temples were not mere altars, but living laboratories aligned with the stars, carved with numbers that dance into infinity. The ancients did not separate the physical from the spiritual. The Nile's floods and the cycles of Venus were as sacred as the inner movements of the soul. The awe of alignment. There is a peculiar awe that arises when the equations and the energies match, when the pulse you feel in a temple matches the frequency a physicist records on an oscilloscope, when the golden ratio of a pyramid slope is the same ratio found in your heartbeat, your breath, your very DNA. This is no accident. The universe is not divided. Your body is a resonance chamber, an instrument tuned by both logic and intuition. I recall the first time I felt this bridge. It was in the shadow of Karnak, late in the day, when the light angled through the columns and made the dust glow gold. A scientist beside me was explaining precession, gravitational pull, sacred geometry. At first, I wanted to dismiss it as just numbers. But the longer I listened, the more the language of mathematics began to sound like a prayer. I realized the formula and the incantation are both keys, and the lock is hidden in plain sight. The experience synchronizing both hemispheres. Let's do something few ever try. Sit with your eyes closed. Bring your attention to your left hand, representing analysis, calculation, logic. Then shift to your right hand, intuition, sensation, myth. Now, imagine both hands are touching the same sphere, pulsing with a gentle light. Feel both aspects alive in you. Inhale, let reason fill your lungs. Exhale, let wonder float out with your breath. Repeat this 3 times. As you do, imagine a cord connecting the two hands, a circuit complete. For a moment, notice how you are both observer and participant, scientist and sorcerer, question and answer. If you feel a tingle, a buzz, or even a deep peace, know that you have touched the edge of the hidden unity, the mental trap worshipping one side. But beware, the world is full of those who worship only one half. The scientist who mocks the unseen, the mystic who fears the measurable. Both are lost, each in their own way. The true initiate learns from both, builds with both, heals with both. The trap is to believe that wonder or reason must be enemies. In Thoth's wisdom, they are two hands of the same body. The signs unity as manifestation. Once you have bridged the two, life unfolds in both mystery and method. Inspiration comes, and you know how to act on it. Dreams yield practical guidance. Science becomes sacred, and spirituality becomes practical. The impossible happens not by magic alone, but by alignment with the whole pattern, joining the collective bridge. If you have experienced this union, if the numbers ever sang to you, or your prayers became equations, share it below. I bridge the worlds, or both hands are awake. Every declaration is a step toward dissolving the ancient rift. Every mind and heart joined in this way becomes a new node in the web of awakening. The threshold of surrender. This is the edge every seeker eventually faces, the place where all your knowledge, rituals, affirmations, and effort can go no further. It is terrifying, humbling, and necessary. For here, and only here, does Thoth's lost wisdom finally reveal its true face. Let me be brutally honest. Surrender is the one thing most manifestors secretly dread. We would rather repeat endless mantras, write vision boards until our fingers ache, or chase the next proven technique than admit how much we cling to control. But the Emerald Tablet does not say, "Thou shalt master the world." It whispers, "Thou art the world," and the world, like the tide, cannot be forced. It must be yielded to. The agony and ecstasy of letting go. The first time I approached this threshold, I thought I was ready. I believed I could let go, as a means to an end, that surrender was just another tactic to get what I wanted. How wrong I was. True surrender is not a bargaining chip. It is a free fall into the unknown, a willingness to dissolve even your desire to manifest. And yes, it hurts. It strips away illusions. It exposes fears you didn't know you had. But then, like the hush after a storm, a new kind of peace emerges. You realize you are not alone, not separate, not lacking. You are the field, the vibration, the source. The universe is not something you must bend to your will. It is something you become as you relinquish the struggle. The ritual crossing the threshold. If you are ready, let's cross this line together. Find a space where you can be undisturbed. Sit, close your eyes, and bring to mind something you have been desperately trying to manifest, something you have clung to with all your might. Hold it gently in your awareness, like a stone you've carried for years. Now, speak softly to this longing. Thank you for showing me who I am. As you inhale, imagine the longing dissolving into golden mist. As you exhale, release it to the wider field without condition, without expectation, without a secret wish for its return. If tears come, let them. If laughter comes, embrace it. If nothing comes, honor the silence. You have just crossed the threshold most never dare approach. The warning, the abyss of surrender. There is a risk here, and it is real. Some, upon letting go, feel lost, disoriented, uncertain, stripped of identity. This is the sacred disorientation of transformation. The caterpillar does not know what the butterfly will feel like. Endure the in-between. Do not rush to fill the void. Let it open. It is the birthplace of every miracle. The signs, the unseen hand. After true surrender, life often changes in ways you could never plan. The impossible arrives quietly, without fanfare. Old desires fade, replaced by new ones you never could have imagined. Sometimes, what you once wanted returns not as a reward, but as a natural consequence of your freedom. Sometimes, it doesn't, and you discover you are still whole. For the collective, a shared leap. If you cross this threshold, if you truly let go, even for a moment, leave your echo in the comments. I have surrendered, or the threshold is behind me. Each affirmation is a torch for those still trembling at the edge. The resonance ritual. Now we arrive at the point where all stories return, where every secret and every silence merge into something larger than the self. The ancient ones knew, nothing endures unless it is shared, nothing truly awakens unless it echoes through the field of others. This is not just myth, it is physics, energy, life. This is the last and most hidden teaching of Thoth, the art of joining your frequency to the living current of the awakened. There is a moment, near the end of every mystery school, when the initiate is told, your journey is not yours alone. Each realization, each surrender, is a note in a song that has no beginning and no end. The temples of Egypt, the caves of Tibet, the silent halls of India all designed their rituals to create not solitary adepts, but living networks of resonance. This is the true meaning of manifestation, not isolated achievement, but collective awakening, a rising tide that lifts all. The living proof, from self to symphony. I confess, I doubted this for years. In the early days, I chased secrets for my own gain, hoarded insights, guarded my breakthroughs as if they might be stolen. It was only when I started sharing, not teaching, but inviting, listening, co-creating, that the miracles multiplied. What I gave away returned tenfold, transformed by the field. Modern science, at last, is catching up. Studies on coherence show that a group meditating together produces a measurable field, one that calms storms, stills violence, heals hearts. When intention is joined, reality bends. The sorcerer and the scientist, at last, agree. The final practice, activating the field. Let us seal this journey with a living ritual. Wherever you are, close your eyes. Imagine the circle of all who have walked this path, every viewer, every seeker, every silent watcher across time and space. Inhale slowly, and as you do, feel your heart beating in unison with that unseen tribe. Exhale, and imagine a thread of golden light weaving from your chest into the circle, binding you to every other heart. Whisper, aloud or in the mind, I am part of the current. My vibration awakens the field. Stay in this awareness for a few breaths. Feel the subtle expansion, the tingling in the palms, the gentle warmth or the cool clarity. This is not fantasy. This is the resonance ritual, the practice that makes all magic real. The side effects ripples through reality. If you do this sincerely, do not be surprised if the world answers. People may reach out with news, synchronicities may erupt, old wounds may heal unexpectedly. You may feel a sudden surge of purpose, or an ache for connection. This is the collective field at work, ancient, living, vast. Each action, each comment, each moment of genuine presence is an offering to the great tapestry. The call weaving the web, together. Now, as one, let us confirm our part in this awakening. In the comments, leave your seal. I am part of the resonance, or the field is alive in me. When you do not think of it as mere habit, but as an ancient gesture, your note in the chorus, your strand in the web. And as you leave this ritual, know that subscribing to this channel, liking and sharing this video are not just acts of support, but threads in the same energy ritual. With each subscription, the field grows stronger. With each share, the current flows farther. With each comment, the resonance multiplies. This is not marketing. This is magic collective, conscious, unstoppable. This is the age of awakening. We are the living field, the heirs of Thoth's wisdom, the builders of the bridge between worlds. The secret was never vibrate higher. It was always to remember, return, and resonate together.